If you're shopping for a wireless system for your guitar or bass, you likely have come across all kinds of budget wireless systems online, and almost all of them share the same design, which consists of a rotatable quarter-inch plug attached to a body of some kind. Then comes the disruptor, Brian Fay, who introduced a wireless system with a groundbreaking design that they called a lollipop. Now, just because someone dares to be different and goes against the trend doesn't necessarily mean it's good. You know, innovation still needs to make sense. Is Brian Fay's lollipop design smart or dumb? Let's dive into, is it worth it? But let's get straight into the controversial lollipop or pen-like design, because I'm willing to bet that immediately after looking at the design, everyone will see why it can be problematic. I mean, just look at these photos. If your guitar has a flat input jack, it will stick out like a sore thumb. Not only does that look weird, you can also very easily damage your instrument or the lollipop itself if you bump into anything. It's even worse if the guitar has a side input jack, because you may have a hard time sitting down while it's inserted. However, if your guitar has a different input jack, suddenly the lollipop or pen shape becomes the smartest design choice, because it is slick and thin, so it will fit any type of input jack regardless of where it's located. And without a bulky body you see in the typical design, the lollipop takes up very little real estate on your guitar. So whether this shape works or not really depends on the guitar. Now, it's not like the company is gonna pretend that the sore thumb problem doesn't exist. Brian Fay does sell a special extension cable that allows you to mount the transmitter on your guitar strap. However, at the price point, it may have turned off a lot of the players who were looking for a budget device. For me, rather than spending an extra $20-ish, I decided to get crafty and make myself one with a $6 extension cable, a piece of nylon strap, and an extra belt clip that my cat found in the wild. With this little makeshift extension, the lollipop now works on all types of input jacks. Best of all, it's super lightweight, so I don't even feel like I'm wearing anything extra. With a proper adapter or extension, I will say that Brian Fay's wireless lollipop has one of the coolest designs. Not only is it super small and lightweight, it also looks super slick and professional, especially if you put it next to one of those budget wireless with a very questionable design choice. Moving on, let's talk about its performance. But before we do, please be sure to hit that like and subscribe button if you do find Shredberry's review helpful. Now, according to the manual, the lollipop has an effective transmitting distance of 30 meters, or roughly 98 feet in an outdoor environment. So what other way is better than putting it to an actual test? This is what we're gonna do right now. The test is super simple. I take my Yamaha THR10X, which is a battery-powered amp, out to a basketball court. I set the amp down at the end of the court and played from 5 different spots, starting from directly next to the receiver and advanced a quarter distance to the other side of the court each time. I didn't measure the exact distance, but a standard basketball court should be somewhere between 84 to 94 feet or 26 to 29-ish meters. As you can see in the demonstration, the wireless has zero problem working at a maximum distance in an open area with minimal signal interruption. Now that we've seen how well it performs, let's talk about some of the other aspects of the wireless system. First, sound quality and latency. I would just say there is no discernible difference in quality and latency between using a cable and this wireless system. I know there are a lot of people who are hypercritical of these budget wireless systems, but really, you won't tell it apart, I promise. Second, signal type. According to the manual, the Brian Fay wireless wireless system works on IoT, Internet of Things frequency band, and avoids the current complex 2.4 GHz signal. But the manual only lists UHF, ultra high frequency ISM general band, as a signal band. Luckily, a fellow professional musician, Scott, reached out to Brian Fay and was informed that the Brian Fay wireless system has a transmission frequency range between 860 to 900 MHz. As far as I know, almost every single budget wireless system on the market is on 2.4 GHz, so theoretically this should reduce the amount of signal conflict. Finally, battery life. The manual says the transmitter has about 6 hours and the receiver has about 8 hours of battery life. After over a year of usage, I would say it is pretty accurate. While on the topic of battery, I should note that what I have here is the BF1 Lite, which is just the wireless system. The non-light model, which is called the BF1, comes with a charging case that offers an additional 30 hours of battery life. When you put your lollipop back in the case, it charges the unit just like an AirPod. Of course, you'll have to charge the charging case itself when the battery runs out. Now, we've reached the most important discussion, which is how much is it? And is it worth it? Well, before I share my verdict, I do have to point out that while I was making this video, I noticed that Brian Fay has removed all of their wireless products from sale on Amazon, and Amazon seems to be the only retail platform that they ever listed in the US. Furthermore, there's no indication whether they will restock it or not, so at this point, I'm really not sure what the status is. I've reached out to Brian Fay via their website, but I'm not sure if I will get a response back. If I do, I'll definitely update the video description in the future. With that out of the way, I would still tell you that the Brian Fay wireless is most definitely super worth it. The model that I have, which is the BF1 Lite, only cost me $49 when it was available. Even the charging case version BF1 only cost $99 when it was still on sale. For a budget wireless system, I would definitely say Brian Fay was one brand that made their product appear, feel, and function like a premium product. So it's quite a shock to me that they removed all of their products out of the US market. If they have discontinued, which I hope that's not the case, but if they did, I will have to say the shape probably did play a part in their failure. I feel like if they sold their units with a right angle adapter, something like this, which is super cheap in China anyway, they may have fared a bit better, because I'm sure a lot of potential buyers shied away from buying this because they don't want to spend an extra $20 on an extension, and it's more common to find places where a straight design is a problem than it is a benefit. Well, that's everything about the Brian Fay. If you found something useful, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe for more Is It Worth It review. Cheers!